Imagine standing on an icy precipice, freezing winds whipping fiercely against your skin, sheer cliffs plunging thousands of feet into oblivion below. The thunderous trumpeting of elephants shatters the mountain stillness, echoing off jagged peaks. Men, battered by exhaustion and relentless cold, struggle forward, eyes blazing with fierce determination. This is not just a daring feat, it's an unparalleled, audacious invasion. You're witnessing Hannibal Barca, one of history's greatest generals, crossing the Alps to challenge the might of the Roman Empire. Today, we retrace this legendary journey step by step. The year is 218 BC, and tensions between Carthage and Rome have reached a fever pitch. Hannibal, intent on bringing Rome to its knees, concocts an audacious strategy, a direct assault through the treacherous Alps, a path considered utterly impossible. With a force of around 90,000 soldiers, cavalry, and 37 battle-hardened war elephants, Hannibal sets out from Spain, driven by an unquenchable thirst for vengeance. First, the Carthaginian army crosses the Pyrenees, entering Gaul. This initial phase tests their endurance, but pales in comparison to the obstacles ahead. Hostile tribes line the route, ready to defend their territories fiercely. Ambushes erupt without warning, and Hannibal must use cunning diplomacy and ruthless military tactics to ensure passage. One notable skirmish erupts with the Volcae tribe, who block a crucial river crossing. Hannibal cleverly orchestrates a nighttime diversion, distracting the enemy while secretly ferrying his main forces across under the cover of darkness. Once in the Rhone Valley, Hannibal faces another daunting task, convincing his weary troops to continue. The sight of distant Alpine peaks, formidable, cold, and impassable, crushes morale. Hannibal delivers a rousing speech, igniting the hearts of his men by invoking glory, honor, and the eternal hatred for Rome. His charisma and relentless spirit rally them forward. As they approach the foothills, conditions rapidly deteriorate. The terrain transforms into narrow pathways, snaking treacherously along cliffsides, barely wide enough for a single elephant. Snow begins to blanket the route, masking deadly pitfalls. Hannibal orders his men into strict formation, elephants at the front to break through barriers, followed by infantry and cavalry, cautiously navigating the perilous trails. Then comes a catastrophic obstacle. An avalanche triggered by shifting snow crushes portions of the column, burying supplies and claiming lives. Panic ripples through the ranks, threatening to unravel their hard-won progress. Hannibal, exemplifying steadfast leadership, moves swiftly, personally guiding rescue efforts, boosting morale, and tirelessly organizing repairs. Another dramatic confrontation arises when local Alpine tribes launch surprise attacks from hidden mountain fortresses. Utilizing guerrilla tactics, they rain arrows and roll massive stones onto the vulnerable columns below. Hannibal counters with brilliant adaptive strategies, sending specialized climbing troops to assault these positions directly, neutralizing threats before they can devastate the main force. Still, the cold intensifies, biting viciously into flesh and bone. Men suffer frostbite. Elephants, unused to harsh mountain climates, stumble precariously, trumpeting desperately in distress. Soldiers ingeniously wrap elephants' feet with animal hides to protect them from ice and sharp rocks. Hannibal relentlessly encourages his troops, recognizing that psychological endurance is equally vital as physical strength. Perhaps the most astonishing engineering feat occurs when the path becomes entirely impassable due to a massive landslide blocking a critical pass. Facing potential defeat, Hannibal orders his engineers to heat rock surfaces with fire, then rapidly cool them with vinegar, shattering the stone. This inventive approach successfully clears a route, allowing the battered army to push onward. After weeks of grueling hardship, starvation, and relentless battle against nature itself, the Carthaginian army finally emerges onto the plains of northern Italy. Yet this victory is bittersweet. Nearly half the troops have perished during the treacherous crossing. Only a handful of war elephants survive, weary but resolute. Despite the immense losses, Hannibal achieves a psychological masterstroke. Rome, stunned by the audacity and unexpected direction of his attack, scrambles in panic. The crossing itself becomes a legend, symbolizing unmatched boldness and strategic brilliance. Hannibal has accomplished the impossible, forever etching his name into history. As Hannibal's forces regroup in Italy, ready to confront the Roman legions, the memory of the harrowing Alpine crossing serves as a grim reminder of the lengths men will go to achieve greatness. Hannibal's triumph over nature, his astounding leadership, and indomitable willpower set the stage for some of history's most legendary battles, like the crushing victory at Cannae. Hannibal's crossing of the Alps wasn't merely a military maneuver. It was an act of sheer defiance against impossible odds, redefining the boundaries of what was achievable in warfare. It challenges us even today. How far would we push our limits to achieve our deepest ambitions? Hannibal Barca's legendary Alpine crossing continues to captivate and inspire, a timeless testament to human endurance, strategic brilliance, and unyielding courage in the face of overwhelming adversity. Emerging onto the Italian plains, Hannibal immediately set about consolidating his remaining forces. This rugged band of survivors, battle-hardened by trials that few armies had ever faced, stood resolute, their faces etched with determination born from overcoming the impossible. Hannibal swiftly understood that victory relied not merely on physical prowess, but psychological warfare. To terrify Rome, he emphasized the unimaginable feat they'd accomplished: crossing the impenetrable Alps. Roman spies quickly carried back word of the Carthaginian arrival, filling Rome with dread and confusion. The Romans had confidently anticipated attacks from the south or along the Mediterranean coast. Hannibal's unexpected emergence from the north sent shockwaves throughout the Republic. Panic spread like wildfire, and Roman commanders scrambled to gather legions, deeply unsettled by Hannibal's legendary status, now magnified by his Alpine triumph. Yet Hannibal knew he could not rest. Despite exhaustion and depleted resources, he seized the momentum and quickly sought allies among the discontented tribes of northern Italy who resented Roman rule. His reputation as a daring conqueror, magnified by the crossing, proved invaluable in forging new alliances. These local tribes, inspired by Hannibal's boldness and his promise of freedom from Roman oppression, readily pledged their support, replenishing his ranks and invigorating morale. Hannibal's tactical genius, sharpened by the harrowing journey, came sharply into focus during his first major engagement at the Battle of the Trebia. Here, he masterfully manipulated Roman aggression, baiting their eager commander, Sempronius Longus, into attacking prematurely in freezing conditions. Roman soldiers, unprepared for the harsh cold, struggled through icy waters, while Hannibal's troops, adapted to far worse conditions during their Alpine ordeal, stood ready and disciplined. The Carthaginians delivered a devastating counterattack, scattering Roman forces in a stunning victory. Following Trebia, Hannibal pressed relentlessly onward, drawing Rome into further engagements, each battle meticulously choreographed to exploit Rome's arrogance and tactical rigidity. His Alps-hardened soldiers had developed unmatched resilience, a factor that proved decisive again at Lake Trasimene, where Hannibal orchestrated one of history's greatest ambushes. Roman legions marched confidently along a lakeside path, oblivious to the trap carefully laid by Hannibal's disciplined, stealthy soldiers hidden in dense fog. In moments, Roman confidence dissolved into sheer chaos, a slaughter born of brilliant strategy and ruthless precision. Yet Hannibal's true masterpiece awaited at Cannae. Here, the harsh lessons of the Alps became vividly apparent in his strategic deployment. Understanding intimately the value of psychology and endurance, Hannibal purposefully weakened his center, enticing Romans into a seemingly easy breakthrough. His troops, steeled by previous hardships, maintained extraordinary discipline, holding formation against overwhelming odds. At the perfect moment, Hannibal executed a double envelopment, a maneuver so audacious and effective that it obliterated the Roman army, resulting in one of the bloodiest days in military history. Though Rome reeled from these catastrophic defeats, Hannibal's victories paradoxically forged Roman resolve. Realizing direct confrontation was suicide, Roman strategists adopted cautious tactics, shadowing Hannibal's movements while denying him further decisive engagements. Meanwhile, Hannibal's supply lines stretched thin, his troops gradually worn down by continuous campaigns. Though Rome would never underestimate him again, Hannibal's inability to deliver a knockout blow allowed Rome crucial time to recuperate. As the war dragged on, Hannibal faced increasing challenges. Reinforcements and supplies from Carthage were scarce, hindered by Roman naval dominance. His once vibrant army, though still formidable, began showing signs of fatigue and attrition. Yet, even as the tides turned slowly against him, Hannibal's legend continued to grow, his reputation enhanced by the monumental achievement of the Alps crossing. In later years, Hannibal's innovative strategies and unparalleled leadership remained influential long after Carthage's defeat. Military minds studied his campaigns, marveling at the audacity of crossing the Alps and his ingenious tactics. Even Rome grudgingly admired their greatest foe, embedding Hannibal's story deeply within Roman history as both warning and inspiration. Ultimately, Hannibal Barca's crossing of the Alps was more than a military expedition. It became a symbol of human defiance against seemingly impossible odds. Centuries later, historians, strategists, and adventurers alike continued to revisit his extraordinary journey, each inspired by different facets of his story: unmatched courage, cunning adaptability, and profound resilience. His Alpine trek stood as a testament not only to military strategy, but also to human spirit's boundless capacity to overcome adversity. Today, Hannibal's legendary journey challenges us to consider the true essence of leadership and bravery. His daring expedition across the Alps wasn't merely a battle against Rome, but a monumental struggle against nature, doubt, and despair. Hannibal's legacy endures as an eternal reminder. With enough resolve and ingenuity, even the most impossible barriers can be surmounted, forever inspiring humanity to reach beyond perceived limits in pursuit of greatness.